Hello everybody, my name is Julian Santiago, and in this speech I will be attempting to persuade you all into getting 8 hours of high quality sleep when you can. Now, 8 hours of sleep is something that you all know that you should be striving for, whether it's from your parents saying that or just from things that you've heard, because it is a very popular number that a lot of you have heard, the 8 hours of sleep. Now, I'm sure that everyone has slept less than 8 hours and still been able to function, but if you don't sleep for 8 hours, you are suffering for it, even though it might not be apparent immediately. So in this speech, I'll be informing you on the benefits and the detriments of either getting 8 hours of high quality sleep or not getting it, and some of the reasons why you might not always be able to get the 8 hours of sleep, or why a lot of people might not be able to get the 8 hours of sleep. After this speech, I hope that you will make more of an effort to get those 8 hours of high quality sleep when you can. So like I said, I'll be going over why some people don't get enough sleep, the detriments of it, and how to actually, 2 ways to get that high quality sleep. So the first factor are schedules, such as work or sleep schedules, as to why some people might not get enough sleep. In an article written by Eaton and McKnight-Ely, published in 2007 by the Journal of Adolescent Health, titled Prevalence of Insufficient, Borderline, and Optimal Hours of Sleep Among High School Students that participated in the survey, 70% of them self-reported not getting enough sleep. Now, with college having a lot more dense coursework and a lot more coursework, I'd say that it's safe to assume that around 70% of college students probably don't get enough sleep either. Work is a big factor as well, with people having to wake up early for some jobs, and people, after they get home, maybe not having time to just relax after doing the rest of their responsibilities, which could lead to people staying up later to get that leisure time. But then it leads to them not having enough time rested the night before to go to work the next day. However, it's not always a person's fault why they might not be able to get enough sleep. Take into consideration, for example, sleeping disorders. Now, insomnia, from an article titled Insomnia, published by The Lancet in 2022, Perlis, Posner, and Ryman describe how insomnia occurs in up to a third of adults worldwide. Now, even for people who don't have diagnosed insomnia, my mom has a lot of trouble sleeping, and she suffers a lot for it because she does have to wake up very early. If I'm up in the middle of the night or I get home late, sometimes she's up in very early hours of the morning because she just can't sleep. And this leads to her being very tired the next morning and her being very frustrated later in the day because she is not rested enough and she can't function how she wishes she could function. And those are 2 things that I'm sure a lot of you can relate to or have seen examples of. So now that we've gone over a bit of a refresher or maybe new information that you might not have known about why people don't get enough sleep, let's think about some of the detriments of not getting those 8 hours of sleep. One of the downsides of not getting enough sleep are the negative effects it has on your focus the next day once you wake up. In an article titled Sleep Deprivation Effects on Basic Cognitive Processes, published by the National Library of Medicine in 2021, authors Garcia, Borrani, Ramirez, and Valdez analyzed 2 groups, one that had been sleep deprived for 24 hours and one that hadn't. And after both of those groups took the same tests, the results showed that the sleep deprived group had reduced alertness, select and sustained attention, and cognitive inhibition, which is the ability to ignore irrelevant things happening around you, such as sounds or smells or sights, and being able to focus on one thing. I'd say that most people aren't staying up past 24 hours on a given day, but a lot of people get like 4 or 6 hours of sleep, which means they're staying up for about 18 to 20 hours, which is still very bad, because when you compare 4 hours of sleep to those 8 hours of sleep, that's double the rest, double the time your body has to recover, and double the time your mind has to rest before you have to go over your next day, next morning. Not only are you not able to function as well when you don't have enough sleep, not getting enough sleep has a lot of underlying health issues that aren't readily available to see. In a book published in 2017 titled Sleep Deprivation, Larry Williams explains how a lack of sleep and sleeping disorders are linked to many diseases and issues such as hypertension, heart arrhythmia, diabetes, and insulin resistance. And the reason those last 2 are related to sleep is because your body and sleep are very connected with hormones, where your body, when you're sleepy, it's a result of your body releasing melatonin into your system, which makes you sleepy because it's time for bed. You've been up for too long, or you're comfortable in bed at night in a dark room and your body wants to rest. Now, some people may say they can function off of those 6 or 4 hours of sleep, and while you can function, your body is suffering for it because messing with your sort of regular cycle by ignoring the melatonin that's been released, it messes with the release of other hormones in your body as well, because the endocrine system releases all of the hormones in your body and it is very connected. So if you're messing with the production of melatonin, you're also messing with the production of the hormones that are related to the way your body handles insulin and the risk factors for diabetes. And to compound the issue, a function of sleep, deep, high quality sleep, is to re-regulate your body's production of hormones. So if you're not going to bed at a good time, not only are you messing with the melatonin that is being produced, you're also messing with your body's ability to sort of reroute itself and fix that production of melatonin. So at this point, those are two big things of why it's bad not to get those 8 hours of sleep. So let's go over how to get 8 hours of sleep, but high quality sleep. It starts with it being interrupted. Sleep has many different functions, like how I described earlier, and a lot of the functions that sleep has only happen with deep, uninterrupted sleep, like the 8 hours unbroken. In an article from 2009 titled Sleep Benefits Subsequent Hippocampal Functioning, written by Van der Werf, Altena, and Schoenheim, published by Nature Science, the article describes how even mild disruption of sleep before learning can negatively affect one's ability to encode that information and for future learning. So with the 8 hours of sleep greatly benefiting your memory in general, which is something that I learned in my AP psychology class as well last year, if you don't get those 8 hours of high quality sleep, you're not going to be able to remember things as well, and you won't be able to learn things as well. And this is also why it's important to get those 8 hours of sleep in one big block instead of getting 4 or 6 hours and then catching up for those 8 hours by taking naps. Another big part of good sleep is consistency. In an article published by Science Direct in 2023 titled Sleep Physiology, Pathophysiology, and Sleep Hygiene, authors Baranwal, Yu, and Siegel go over a couple ways to overall improve the quality of your sleep. And two of the ones that stuck out to me are having a regular bedtime routine and going to bed at a consistent time and waking up at a consistent time, because they're related in consistency. Now, it's important to have this consistency because your body gets used to routines, and if you are able to keep a consistent routine through a consistent bedtime routine and also a consistent sleep-wake time, you'll be able to go to bed faster and you'll be able to get that deep sleep more often. And also, if you're staying up late and then still getting 8 hours of sleep the next morning, if you're staying up later than you usually do, you will have to rest more to recuperate the extra expended energy that you spent by staying up later. So uninterrupted and consistent routines are two very important parts of sleep, and now hopefully you know more about sleep in general. Now, to end things off, I'd like to recap all the things that we've learned so far: why people don't get enough sleep, the detriments of not getting enough sleep, and the benefits of getting good sleep and how to get that good sleep. So having learned all of this, the next time you are given the choice between, or not given the choice, but the next time you have the choice between going to bed earlier and getting those 8 hours of sleep or staying up later, I hope that what you've learned from this speech will inform your decision better and persuade you to get that better sleep next time. Thank you for listening.